Øresund, Norway. The Velar in 2018 Range Rover Velar, named following decoy badges officially used on prototypes in the first ever version of Land Rover's box suit in 1969, is Latin for veiled, a leitmotif whose inscrutable modernity hits you above the head, featuring its rampant subtlety. This could be the design equal of silence so intense it's deafening, a style that carries from stem to stern in Range Rover's first midsize SUV. Squeeze the Velar's remote as well as its door handles deploy from the flush fit while using sheet metal. Press the commencement button along with a touch screen silently tilts while two other TFTs awaken. Set it in motion, as well as the all-new 2018 Velar slices from the air using a drag coefficient of 0.32, rendering it the slipperiest Land Rover ever, while riding by using an air suspension which has a perfect 50-50 balance. In case you haven't already caught the prevailing theme of understatement, Range Rover reps are quick to tout the new Velar as a possible exercise in minimalism, reductionism, and simply about some otherism you may ascribe to your Brancusi sculpture in polished brass. Long and low, flush and taut, the Velar looks remarkably balanced from any angle. A visual portmanteau that blends the superior dog Range Rover's elegant gravitas having a touch from the smaller Evoque's angularity. This newcomer's form factor exudes feelings of that thing you didn't know you needed, some Cupertino-esque je ne sais quoi. But the thought of elegance, at the very least in its abstract form, is significantly from my transom as I maneuver the Velar down a jagged off-road course by using a glaciated Norwegian valley near to the Wagnerian Trollstigen Pass. My tester, atop of the heap first edition version saddled it has a $90,295 car or truck, rides on massive 22-inch 265/40 tires, visually beefy, but suboptimal kit for off-tarmac duty. Beneath the Velar's pretty skin can be a modified version in the Jaguar F-Pace's mostly aluminum chassis that's been reinforced for off-road competence and is also further bolstered by Land Rover's Terrain Response 2 system, which orchestrates goodies as an active rear-locking differential, low-traction launch system, hill descent control, with an available air suspension with adaptive shocks, standard on V6 models, that work in conjunction with stability control. The system maximizes traction by monitoring wheel movement 500 times an extra, a function which helps encourage the Velar's billy goat-like grip for the loose rocks below. While its approach angle, breakover angle, and wading depth are eclipsed through the more rugged Discovery, Velar holds a unique when articulating over uneven, steep, and dirty surfaces. Off-road aptitude is, obviously, integral to Land Rover's brand narrative, as well as the Velar's relative capability is reassuring given its supermodel looks. After all, what good is wonderful bone structure whether or not this houses a dumb brain? Also encouraging could be the panoply of assistance systems, front, side, and rear-facing cameras in addition to info including tire position, the slope, tilt with the terrain, suspension travel, and torque distribution. Perform the water crossing, and there's also a weight sensing display which has a graphical representation of how close you happen to be to reaching the ideal depth of 25.6 inches. If you can't be bothered to peel the eye area away through the view, key info is projected with the Velar's head-up display. Merge on top of the road and wipe the lighting dusting over glass panel displays. Instead of surprisingly, Velar plays negligent Spilvardia more convincingly. It manages small dips and big bumps using a level of composure close to an air suspension-equipped Range Rover Sport, that is roughly 2 inches longer, bumper to bumper, versus the Evoque, which measures 17 inches shorter. Velar rides large, using the view of its domed hood occupying a cheaper portion with the windshield's letterboxed vantage point. She's a major girl, little doubt, but despite its 4,471 pounds curb weight, the 4-cylinder diesel drops to 4,359 pounds, 4-cylinder gas versions tip the scales at 4,217 pounds, direction changes happen with relative ease. That's thanks partially to its adaptable suspension, low-profile street tires, along with a brake vectoring system that squeezes the inner calipers that can help rotate your vehicle. The supercharged 3.0-litre V6's 380 horsepower, 332 pounds-to-feet output can scoot Velar to 60 miles per hour within a respectable 5.3 seconds, but that acceleration feels buttery and predictable due to the engine's linear power delivery plus the ZF 8-speed smooth shift action. Driving modes is usually switched through the lower touchscreen panel or physical dials, which also become back controllers. While preset drive modes are simple enough to set, the lower capacitive touchscreen also enables all parameters, engine, transmission, suspension, etc., to become displayed and adjusted at one. That may quell some critics who might resent the electronic interface overload. The quality on the screen image is exceptional, with crisp, vivid high-resolution graphics and pleasantly illustrated vehicle photography to guide the settings. Witness various versions of artfully depicted Velar kissed with studio-like light. The vehicle's multifunction instrument panel ahead from the driver is sharp enough, much like the two central screens, but rapidly relatively seamless integration and simple access to most critical data points. There's something lost using the abandonment of physical gauges. The screens glow vivaciously in daylight, as well as their seemingly frictionless surfaces dim into a slick, black blankness when turned off, but this digitalization marks the tip of a great era of mechanically analog information transfer. Additionally, there's no haptic feedback once you touch those screens, and infrequently, specifically when G-forces interfere with all the task taking place, it will take a double tap to push those small virtual buttons. The world's most glamorous brands, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and Mercedes-Benz particularly, took to fully or near fully digital displays, so it's no shock Land Rover has finally climbed aboard also. At least both the real rotary dials dominate some with the functionality and might be configured to regulate different functions. There's fashionable smaller physical dial enabling quick volume or power adjustments. The interior of our own first edition Velar plays a convincingly plush mini-meteor range-topping Range Rover. With soft twin-sill leather along the doors, leader, plus the brand's so-called full-width unbroken beam dashboard, there's feelings of specialness and luxury that's rounded out by an Alcantara headliner and details like cut diamond perforations, which form a subtle variety of Union Jacks throughout the seat centers. Chief designer of color and materials Amy Frasello says the pattern was greenlit after it occurred by happenstance, though there appear to become few accidents inside execution from the Velar. Some option is a tad trendy, witness the copper bumper blades and fender vents, but our tester also offered a huge amount of lovely fashion-forward details, in the sharply carved matrix laser LED headlamps to your flux silver satin paint, that is only available on first edition models, capped at 500 units for your US, and other pleasant touches. Range Rover's first textile trim for being positioned within the same level as leather, a hide-free option that's available like a no-cost alternative to the very best Deer Windsor trim. Kvadrat, a Danish company containing supplied high-end furniture manufacturers like Nolan Vitra, manufactures the wool, polyester blend that feels and looks as an expensive men's suit. The polyester portion softens the tactility, helping with wickability. Early samples, which has a higher wool ratio, didn't pass Land Rover's fogging test. The accenting microcloth is made of recycled bottles but generates a convincing doppelganger for suede. I don't wish to call this a fringe activity, Fraschkeller says, referring for the alternative interior, because the fringe starts to become typical. Being a vegan or even a vegetarian, nobody really questions that anymore. That said, when Land Rover chief designer Jerry McGovern approved the material option, he led Fraschkeller's design team into a decidedly yesteryear source for more inspiration, his Savile wrote Taylor. The Velar's subtext may very well be subtlety, but a recurrent thread can be a shock on the new that, mostly, peacefully coexists while using comfort of tradition. Though we've yet to have lower-end, higher volume models just like the base 4-cylinder gas, $50,895, 4-cylinder diesel, $57,195, or base supercharged V6, $65,195. The highest line Velar First Edition knocks it out with the park as being both a device of utility plus an object of desire. 2018 Range Rover Velar specifications on sale now, price $50,895. Base engines 2.0 liters turbocharged DOC 16 valve i4 247 horsepower at 5,500 revolutions per minute. 269 pounds-feet at 1,200 to 4,500 revolutions per minute. 2.0 litres turbo diesel DOC 16 valve i4 180 horsepower at 4,000 revolutions per minute. 317 pounds-feet at 1,500 revolutions per minute. 3.0 litres supercharged DOC 24 valve V6 380 horsepower at 6,500 revolutions per minute. 332 pounds-feet at 3,500 to 5,000 revolutions per minute. Transmission 8-speed automatic layout 4-door, 5-passenger, front engine, AWD SUV EPA mileage 1621 to 26 miles per gallon. City/highway LXWXH 189.1 by 84.4 by 65.6 in wheelbase 113.1 in weight 4,217 to 4,471 pounds 0 to 60 miles per hour 5.3 to 8.4 seconds top speed 130 to 155 miles per hour.